You might not feel this way, but something amazing has been happening in the NBA. You might have missed it. NBA players actually know how to keep quiet. They may not know how to keep quiet over protest issues, issues involving the President of the United States of America, or other social issues where it would be impossible to aim criticism in their direction because, well, criticism can't possibly come your way when you're willing to take a position almost anyone with sense would take. See the 2016 ESPYs, will you? But here's the thing. When it comes to the dismissal of black NBA coaches, the dwindling numbers that are appearing before our very eyes, where is all the noise of support from black players? Yes, I know that both LeBron James and Dwayne Wade echoed words of support for David Fisdale when he was axed in Memphis. But I'm not talking about obvious support from the peanut gallery, the kind that can easily be dismissed due to personal relationships.
That's the
I'm
peanut gallery.
alluding to the bigger issue
The
of
biggest
black
player in
coaches
history.
being pushed out, of a tolerance level that has vastly lowered where they're concerned, and how it's been enabled by a body of NBA players who seem unwilling or flat out scared to speak out against this alarming trend. Make whatever case you want to justify Fisdale, Earl Watson in Phoenix, or now Jason Kidd in Milwaukee getting fired. But how is it that barely a word is uttered when white contemporaries?
All right, so that is an excerpt of Final Take on First Take. And once again, Stephen A. Smith is ruffling some feathers. He's going after black players. And I don't understand why calling LeBron James is, that's the peanut gallery. LeBron James is like E.F. Hutton of basketball. He's the best player in history, arguably. Him and Jordan are running a close, second. And nonetheless, that's the peanut gallery. Like, that's him and D Wade. That's the peanut gallery. Like, who else do you want to speak up, Steven? Like, number one and like number 10 player in the league spoke up, And listen, okay, for one, let's get it twisted. Black players are not black owners. Black coaches are not black owners. They work for someone. All right, let's just get that completely understood. They work for someone. And not all of them have the financial liberty to just go ahead and speak up and be like, if you cut me, so what? I can fall back on, my sponsors. Why? Because your sponsors come through the NBA. You only got those sponsors because you're playing in front of millions of people. So when you lose your contract, you also lose your sponsor. Okay, which means you can lose your house and your wife, and there goes your family. And we've seen it happen time and time again. We know the rhythm of the stroke. You lose your money, you're no longer famous. Even the closest friends around you no longer want to be there because they're only there for the money and the fame. And a lot of people, like Mike Tyson, actually knew this. He used to pay people just to be around him because he was lonely. This happens all the time. So that's just one factor. That's just one factor. I'm looking like Stephen F. That's just one factor. That's just Stephen A. But listen, that's just one thing. I mean, and, of course, the wife and kids, that's a whole nother issue, and don't act like you won't be doing a Tyrese and crying about your kid being gone and your wife, messing around with the gardener, because we all know that happens. Future. We know that really happens, Scottie Pippen. It is what it is. Why is your wife on Future's plane, Scottie Pippen? Why? Because you don't have the money that you used to. He's famous. You're no longer famous. It is what it is. She was a paper chaser from the beginning. She's still chasing paper. It is what it is. So you have a lot of dynamics that are in the NBA and in all sports that set these players up not to say anything because they are not in control of their money. Period, dot, point blank. Once they leave the NBA, that money dissipates rapidly right in front of their face. Their bank accounts go to nil real quick. And they know it. They've seen it. They have friends who are trying to get loans from them who used to be in the NBA. You have people like Ray Lewis who asked to come back to the NFL. You got Allen Iverson who was broke and didn't know his accountant actually saved him money and And now Allen Iverson lives on an allotment. They only give him so much money because he blew a lot of it. Anthony, I think it's Anthony David. I think it was his name. He went through 100 million. These players do this all the time. And a lot of these players, they're not getting these huge contracts just because they have a shoe out or pending to come out or whatever. It's not like it used to be. It's not like when Jordan dominated the market. The LeBrons dominated the market. It's not like that anymore. So the money is the reason why they're not talking, Stephen A. Their livelihoods. They still want to keep that house and that fancy car that they got and that trophy wife, Stephen A. Smith. Like, you want to blast people who don't have control. Go after the owners, Stephen A. Don't blast the players because they don't have the wherewithal to change anything. And if you say, hey, they can all go on some type of hiatus or some type of break, they're not going to do that. That money's too good. Them cheerleaders look way too good, cheering for them running around just to put a ball in the hoop. The fans love them way too much. Instagram is way too powerful, and everybody saw what happened to Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick was an example of what not to do. Even though Colin Kaepernick was able to bounce back on his own laurels, and he got help. But trust me, he's not making 11.5 like he used to. Okay? He actually did give away $1 million, but he can't keep that up. All right? Let's get that understood. Okay? Money, Stephen A., because they don't control their own destiny. They don't. Heck, what are they going to do? Go to Lithuania and play and make $500 grand a year? If that, no, that's not what they're going to do. Not when they're making, 10, 20 million. And the NBA has been handing out money like, it's amazing. It's no wonder why the American government doesn't have any money, because they gave most of it to the freaking NBA. One player gets 228 million. James Harden, 228 freaking million, and I know that didn't come from the government, but it's a figure of speech. 228 million. Steph Curry, 205 million. Steph Curry's label-mate partner, Kevin Durant, 54 million for 2 years. And LeBron James, God only knows what he's going to make. If he decides to leave Cleveland, somebody wants him on a yearly contract. His last yearly contract was $23 million per year, and that's not including the bonuses and yada, yada, yada. One of the Washington Grizzlies point guards, because point guards are hard to find, is making over 100 and some odd million for the next 10 years. It's just, listen, they're not going to give that money up. I'm not sure that I would either. Everybody knows what happened to Colin Kaepernick, and they're scared. They're scared to make a peep. The only way you're going to get an NBA player who's making that kind of money to come out and really say something against the owners who are all in control. They're in control of the destiny of the basketball game itself, not just the players. The only way you're going to get them to do something is if one of them attacks one of the players personally, just like that one owner did when he came out and he started talking about Magic Johnson to his girlfriend, even though this dude had a wife. Next thing you know, the girlfriend videotapes him saying what Sterling. The girlfriend videotapes him saying what he's making. He's giving this girl $2 million a year, just so she can hang around him and do whatever freaky thing he does. And the wife is like right there, knowing the whole thing's happening. He gets rid of the girlfriend. He loses his NBA team, and then the wife turns around and sues the girlfriend and wins. Nobody wants that noise. The NFL, the NBA, look, they all know who's pulling the strings, and it's none of them. None of them are pulling the strings. And why is it that most of the people, like 80% of the people who finally get out of the NFL, if they're lucky enough to retire, or the NBA, they all want to come back? Why? Why did Michael Jordan come back? You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he had a point to prove, but I mean, he's richer than heck right now, but he's one of the few people who could do it. You know what I'm saying? But I'll tell you one of the reasons why he came back because of the fame. It's hard to let it go when everybody's screaming your name, when everybody adores you. He had all the money in the world and he wanted to come back just so people can scream his name again. It is hard to let those things go, Stephen A. The money, the fame, the power, to be able to walk into a restaurant and get any seat that you want. I mean, at flying first class, people all over you crying and telling you how you changed their life just because you put a ball in the hoop, which you didn't change their life at all. They just get a euphoric feeling off of just what you can do and how magnificently you can do it. It has nothing to do with them. So Stephen A, listen, you even switched your job from one place to another, right? You left one spot, went to another. Uh, it wasn't very smart of you to talk to Kevin Durant the way you did, talking about you really want me to come out and, find the news on you. Kevin Durant doesn't care about that. But you don't make the money that they make. I'm done with my diatribe talking about Steven, but it just incenses me when one of these people who know the game so well and they know the system so well come out against these players who are just trying to make a living. They have a master. They have a whip. Most of the people in the NBA is black. Okay? They have a master. All right? They have this. They have a big old whip that's cracking them in the back and telling them to get out there and play until their knees fall off. And that's exactly what they do. It's your boy Tone 202, man. Stephen A, you need to adjust your attitude and, start calling out some of these owners. Not the coaches or the players. I'm out.